Alright guys, welcome into another episode. Shannon here as usual with Hoops and Football. So I thought today, I've seen a couple ideas about, obviously the Zach Merritt sort of thing has come out with him wanting to leave. If Essendon are going to give him permission to go, could Richmond be another way to kind of help them, help Hawthorn, get him. Gold Coast need to get, or want to get higher up in the draft to take their players without having to, use future picks. So I've sort of based my idea on Hawthorn and Gold Coast. I know Michaels has done it as well before, but I've tried to spin it a little way to some options more towards Gold Coast, because Gold Coast has a lot more to play with. And obviously with the sort of ideas of that Tassie may not get through, I've tried to maybe push towards getting some more draft picks for 2026, because obviously you can have ideas of Zach Butters and other A-grade players coming out of contract. So that's what I've gone with. So we'll flick over to the first slide and we'll talk about that. I'll see you over there. Guys, so this is the first one I had to go through with, was with Hawthorn. So they want Zach Merritt, and I don't think, in my opinion, Essendon is going to want a pick 8, and that's all. So I went with the idea is, because you can now trade in the futures, I went with, do Richmond offer up pick 2? Obviously, that could be changing down to pick 3 with when Allen goes to Brisbane, but I'm going off what it says right now. That hasn't been added into the draft list yet, so that will just go with pick 2 for now. The why I think Adelaide would probably take this one is, yes, they don't need a future first round for next year. Next year's first round pick for them is probably going to be in the teens anyway, so it's not like we're getting another a North Melbourne again. But us, it would still allow us to, if a Hawk said yes, it allows them to go to Zach, to them to go, look, we'll give you pick 2 for Zach Merritt. Probably high chance they'll use that pick 2 and go out and get Cooper Duff-Tytler, which they've been really highly touted to have. Or Dyson Sharp, Will Dursley if he slides. So it gives Essendon a high up pick and an opportunity to get some really good talent. In the plus side for Richmond, it does allow us probably to still get a Sam Grill, Josh Lindsay, Sam Cummings, as you both know that I'm pretty, or if you all know I'm pretty high on, and maybe Roby as well, as you guys know from Michael from Big Tiger Footycast is a big fan of. Then also allows you opportunity to get a future first round pick for next year, so that we could go into next year with, if we don't improve, we still have pick 2, maybe a pick in the teens as well. Just allowing us to build some more stock, because next year's draft, why I'm going after next year's draft is because we have so much, a couple of father and sons and a couple of academy players who are looking really good. And if, a couple of them like Tanner Armstrong goes in the teens, you might not have to bid on him because you have the pick there ready to go to take him. So it saves you your points for later on. So that's why I went with pick 2 to Hawks. You could change it to pick 3, but I think if you went with pick 2, it'd be more enticing. We're only sliding down, theoretically, four picks. You're not going that far. It's not like we're going all the way to the teens straight away. So that's why I went with that one. Probably might not happen, but if they're after Zach Merritt that much, that might be the best option. So going on to the, if it's going to work on my computer for me, the next pick into Gold Coast. So this one was probably a bit of a tricky one. So it's got pick 2 and 3. That isn't meaning we're going to give them pick 2 and 3. It was pick 2 or pick 3. Obviously, if Hawthorn doesn't happen, we can obviously offer them pick 3. But pick 6 and pick 13, I think they would probably try and keep their pick 6. I have sort of done a scenario on that one later on. But if I'm Richmond, I'm asking for pick 6 and 13 for pick 2 or 3. That's just generally how it works in the draft every year. You've got to give up 2 picks to get one higher up in the top 3 or 4. So, same scenario. If at the end of the day, that's what we went with. You're still going to have a chance of getting your Sam Cummings. You're still going to have the chance. Sam Grill, Dyson Sharp, Hibbins Hargrave. You're going to have these players that are going to slide. I've seen a lot of people like Pommy, and Pommy did a video the other day with Michael from Big Tiger Footycast. They went through 20 picks, and I still reckon there was 4 or 5 players that really should be in the top 20. So this draft isn't as as weak as I think a lot of people are giving it out to be, but it is quite a highly talented draft pool. So Gold Coast get pick 6. Richmond give up pick 2 or 3. Gold Coast give up pick 6 and 13. So it helps them to get Zeke Ulan straight up, and then maybe just have to use their later picks to match the points for. I can't remember the other Gold Coast game player. So. All right, we'll go on to the next one for Gold Coast again. A lot of these will just be Gold Coast because there's so much options with Gold Coast. So, Gold Coast have pick 6, pick 6, 13, 16. They also have a lot of late round picks because they also have our future 4th, I believe, as well, from last year when we traded in the last minute to get another player. For the love of God, cannot remember his name, and I'm a big fan of him. It'll come to me later on, you watch. Yet again, pick 2 or 3. So, unless, this is another one where if they don't want to give up pick 6, is why I kind of went this one. Well, you know what? Pick 13 and 16, you're giving up pick 2. I don't think it's enough to give up pick 2 or 3, for 2 picks in the teens. I'm asking for a future pick. I believe I went with future first round in this one as well. As a Tiger person, I would be all for that. You don't drop out, but there are still chances. Also, chances later on in the same night, you can trade those picks 13 and 16 straight away. So, now that pick 16 can change. That's what it is right now. That pick 16 is tied to Collingwood, so it all depends on how far Collingwood goes, because they're going to the prelim, I think it's tonight, tonight or tomorrow night, either way, by making this video. So, we'll find out later on how much that is a chance to slide. I'm not as much on this one. Only for the chances of I would do it, only if you know that before you couple picks your players that you really were heavy on are gone, and you've got some sort of signs that a Sam Cummings and a Josh Lindsay or Sam Grillage are going to slide, and you're really high on them, and there's opportunity that you just let them slide, and you're happy to gain a future first. Yet again, adding another future first for next year's draft to bid for your players, or even get a high up talent. Like if that top 10 lock-in comes in, you have that higher chance to take a couple of players that are locked in that academies or father and sons. So we'll go to the next one. I believe it changed over. So this one was pick 2 and 3 again. Obviously, Richmond don't have any other picks, so it is going to be Richmond giving up pick 2 or 3 in any draft. So I think I went with. I'm trying to remember. So yeah. So this was just basically on getting there. They don't want to give up pick 6. That's what I went with. Sorry. If Gold Coast do not want to give up pick 6 in this year's draft, I went with, all right, well, you still take pick 13. It is a big slide, but then you're asking for your future first and a future second as well. And maybe a bit of wiggle room for a couple other picks later on. Maybe some late picks in this year's draft as well. Just to maybe appease Richmond. Because this one will be a bit more favoured towards what Gold Coast would probably prefer to do, just with their draft. But it does, yet again, build for the future. I know Ooze had said on a recent report they want to take their 2 picks into the draft. Their high-end picks. Nothing against saying you can't swap them. Still have high picks in the draft and still take 2 or 3 players because that's what we're trying to build for. But also, you need to know when you need to build for the future as well. Some of these picks you may not even need to use on players. It could be just using them to bring in senior players or established players that are at 150 games. They're A graders or B plus or A plus players, like a Zach Butters is going out contract next year. So we've got to know we will always be building for the future at every single stage. Sort of what we did last year's draft when we gave up that late pick and got a future first. So I am all for maybe sacrificing a little bit in this draft to get ahead of next year's draft, which has been said meant to be a better draft than this year. So I'll go into the next scenario, which I believe is scenario number 4 for Gold Coast. So this was pick 6, 13, 16, and a future first. Now, this would be more of a scenario where Gold Coast was saying, we want pick 2 and 3. And then that's when I would be like, come back, all right, well, I want all your picks you've got in your first round this year. So Richmond would get 3 first round picks, and you'd also get a future first. It is a big slide in the draft, but at the same time, you're still in pick 6, so you still got a top 10 pick, and then you got 1 early teen, one late team. There's always somebody who slides, and this is the chance of where you'd still get in pick 6. You still take your Sam Cummings. You could still take your Josh Lindsay, Sam Grill. Depends on who else you have really high rated. Pick 13 is where you could find your Grill would still be there. Hibbins Hargrave, Philippou. Pick 16 is where I think you'll start maybe where Broby will pop up as well. Oliver Greaves could be there as well. It's a different type of player as what we've already got, or so similar, but you never know what the players are. Not every draftee makes it through. And then a future first. So then again, you're going out to next year's draft where, Gold Coast is predicted next year to be, in the finals. So it's still going to be a pick in the teens. But it's just points and opportunities as well to trade later on for more stuff as well. So, all right, guys, I believe that will be everything for this episode. If you have liked my content, please hit the like and subscribe button, because only 28% of you who watch my stuff are actually subscribed to watch this ugly header here talk shit. So I do appreciate everyone who is subscribed, and if you do actually just watch it but you don't want to subscribe, I do appreciate that. That is your choice. I do welcome anyone to come watch my content, even to leave tips that you think I can improve on. I am happy to do that as well. So, as I will say at the end of every video, stay safe, and as always, go Tigers.